Good afternoon, folks. This is Jay from Cold Nights, and you are listening to the Cold Takes podcast. We have a very special guest today, international YouTube sensation, Courttonee. She's one of the coolest content creators I've come across. Um, Kind of my intro to a lot of like European game collectors and streamers. So it was pretty neat. And I'm super happy to have her on the show. She makes wonderful content, and I'm going to throw it over to you, Courttonee, to kind of introduce yourself and let everyone know what you do.
That's very kind of you to say that, and I feel very honored to be the first international guest. It's quite a responsibility. Um, yeah, so my name's Courtney. My channel name is also Courttonee. It was supposed to be a play on the Pokemon Courttonee and my name Courtney, but it turns out that a lot of people don't know that. So it has me questioning my username on the daily, I must say.
I
Um,
totally knew.
did you know?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Oh my God. Honestly, see when I go into like Twitch streams and I'm like, hey, and people are like, hi, Courttonee, and I'm like, there's an extra E at the end. Do you not see it? Like it's about the Pokemon. So yeah, that's my little pun on my username. It's had many a rebrand. But yeah, so my YouTube channel is Courtney, and there at the moment I've kind of got a wide variety of gaming content from my collections to unboxings, and most recently I've started doing let's plays, which has been really fun. Hopefully I'll get into streaming at some point like yourself. But yeah, no, it's been really fun. I kind of mainly started making content in April last year. Um, and since then I've just kind of been trying to find my feet and where I fit into this space, and it's just been so much fun getting to meet everyone and getting to meet like-minded people like yourself and Ali, and it's been so lovely. I've had so much fun.
I would say that definitely the best part of what we do is the community. You have access
100%.
to all these people that you'd never meet in your everyday work or life. So I think it's super cool, and especially when you're getting to meet people from around the world.
I
Um,
know,
there's
yeah.
especially a huge gaming, get like a plane going overhead here. There is a huge gaming community in both Europe and Australia, and it's something that I never would have had any access to. So I'm super happy to meet cool people from those places.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
so
YouTube.
one thing I kind of wanted to talk about briefly that has to do with your YouTube is I was wondering, because I know all of us have like a different path that we've taken through YouTube. I was wondering, do you ever find it awkward to talk to your friends and family about your social media career?
Yeah. Well, surprisingly, I used to, so this YouTube channel that I've got, I've had this YouTube channel since 2008. So I was 11 when I made this channel. So it's been through quite a lot, I must say. It started out because I used to, when I was 11, I was infatuated with webkins. And that was how I found out about YouTube in the first place, was because of webkins when I was 11. And I begged my mum to let me make a YouTube channel. So back then when I was a kid, and then eventually when I started going into like my teens, God, I didn't want anyone to find my YouTube channel. It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, especially back then, like 2008, 2010, it wasn't as common as it is nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More so now, I'd say within probably actually when I started this channel back in April, like when I probably started making content on my channel, um, I've just kind of stopped caring. And I've been like, you know what? This is what I enjoy. I love video games. I love collecting games. I love collecting toys. And if you think I'm a massive nerd, then that's absolutely fine. I don't really care anymore. But definitely back when I was an early teen, even my late teens, it was strange because no one else was really into that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like one of my close friends, she's exactly like me. So it would be me and her, and we would geek out about all this stuff together in our YouTube um channels together. But other than that, it felt very out of the norm to have a YouTube channel, so I never
Yeah.
really spoke about it to anyone. My grandparents right now, they still don't really understand what it is, but they support me along the way.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. I know that me personally, like at work, I've always been the one that's been in charge. So I have like a captive audience.
Oh,
So
do you? From
I
your
can go
work?
up to
That's
people and be like,
lovely.
hey, check out my YouTube.
Oh, I
The
love
uncle's telling you to
that.
check out the YouTube. So yeah, at first I was kind of embarrassed, but then I was like, you know what? They all know I'm like a huge collector and geek, so might as well see if any of them will watch. Unfortunately for me, I found, oh, look at the cat.
I know she's I knew I was like, she was purring before we went live, and I was like, I swear to God, if you can hear this purring on the mic, because she likes to sit as close as she possibly can to me, but she's doing not bad so far.
Does she
I
ever
mean,
interrupt your videos?
she has a couple, and it's funny because people always comment, the cameos are the best part, and it's like, nice. I will keep that in mind for
The
future.
cat's getting famous. But yeah, so I found that like sometimes when I'm talking to people, like I'm surprised that they have no interest in YouTube. Like it seems like some people's social media reach does not go to YouTube, which I
Mhm.
find incredible because I consume it as my main form of entertainment. Like that's how I found a lot of the people I ended up befriending is like my entertainment when I come home from work isn't watching TV or watching movies. It's usually tuning into YouTube and seeing who put out a new video. So
Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
honestly me. Like, see, in the morning when I'm eating my breakfast, it's like, you know how, oh my gosh, I think it's a joke that people make nowadays with children, and they're like, oh yeah, all those iPad kids. And it's like, am I an iPad kid? That's all I do is get up and I watch YouTube in the morning with my breakfast, come home from work, I watch some YouTube, catch up on my subscribers, what have they posted.
I guess I'm an iPad like old man.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to turn 40 and I'm watching YouTube all day. So, but so that brings me to one of the cooler things that I've seen on your channel, and that was the opportunity you had to do somewhat of an exclusive review of the new SpongeBob game. So I was kind of wondering if you could share with the listeners how that came about. Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? How did that kind of begin?
So I initially I can't remember what website it was. Um, you know those ones where you can request keys,
Mm.
game keys? It was one of those ones, and I saw the game on there, and I requested a key, and I didn't really expect anything to come of it. Um, put in the comments why I wanted to review it, how much I love SpongeBob, my relationship with SpongeBob, my relationship with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
But like I've loved SpongeBob since literally like honestly, I can't remember a time in my life where I've not loved SpongeBob. So I just seen this as like a perfect opportunity. So I requested a game key and didn't really think much of it because my channel's quite small. Um, and surprisingly, nothing came of it. So I was like, it's fine, whatever. It was there, the opportunity was there. I took it, but nothing came of it. It's fine. And then I saw some of the developers on Twitter um sharing that they needed any content creators who wanted to review the game to drop in their DMs and let them know. So I did that as well. So I messaged them and I was just like, "Hey, this is me, this is my channel, this is what I've done. I love SpongeBob. Hey, SpongeBob's biggest fan right here. If you have a spare key and you'd be willing to let me review it for my channel, that would be amazing." And I was incredibly lucky that they got back to me and they wanted me to review the game, so they sent across a code.
So how did it feel to get that kind of opportunity for something that meant so much to you personally?
It was so cool, honestly, as well. I mean, it was the first game that I'd kind of, like took that leap myself and actually contacted someone because I felt like, I don't know about you, but that way where your channel's quite small, so you kind of maybe feel that you don't have the right to be requesting these things because it's like, I've got a channel of under 1,000 subscribers. So the fact that I'd like got the confidence within me to even message and, you know, do that, and then I got it, and I was like, oh, that was so cool. I really, it was the best game that it could have possibly been as well for the first one, SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake. So good.
So when you went to review it, were you fearful at all that you would be let down? And like when you booted up the game, you'd be like, "Oh no, it's not good. What do I say?"
Honestly, that way I had such high expectations for the game that I hadn't really thought of that aspect, but now that you mention it, it's like, oh my gosh, if it had been one of the more questionable SpongeBob games, which there are many,
Mm.
there are so many, um, But I think I knew as well that I think, obviously don't quote me on this, but I think it's potentially made by the same people who made Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and that was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that game. Battle for Bikini Bottom is kinda like the standard 10 out of 10 SpongeBob game that people enjoy. Um, so I knew that it should be pretty good, and to me, it lived up to the hype. I really, really enjoyed it. I seen some other reviews from big news outlets who maybe did not agree with that whatsoever, but a lot of people that I've spoke to as well, like kinda smaller people, smaller YouTubers, they all enjoyed it. So I thought it was a great game. Honestly, I still need to go back and get some of the costumes
Mhm.
um, that I wasn't able to get when the game first launched. But I had so much fun playing it. It was brilliant.
I think that you were a great choice because you definitely, I may not have opened it yet, but I did buy it because you
Oh, did
recommended
you?
it. Yes. So it's in the backlog. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty neat. That's a kind of like a milestone where you're kind of given that responsibility because I think that they probably vet you. They'll probably kind of take a look at your channel when you talk to them and be like, is this someone that we want to handle our franchise at all?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's kind of
definitely.
like a great vote of confidence and something that's pretty exciting. So you
Yeah.
did enjoy the game, right? Like if people haven't seen
Yeah.
your review.
No, I really did enjoy the game. I was like, I hope they don't think that just because I love SpongeBob, I've been like, yeah, game was great. But no, I honestly enjoyed it so much. I put so many hours into it. I was up till like 3 in the morning each night trying to finish it before I got my review out because I just enjoyed it that much. It was really good. And I think if you're a fan of the earlier seasons of SpongeBob as well, there's just so many little nods to the series throughout the game that just like made me genuinely laugh out loud and point and be like, "Oh, that's that from that episode."
So did they contact you again after? Were they like, hey, we saw your review, or have you heard anything from them?
No, so afterwards, I what I did was I, like, gathered up the links, the video link that I had posted on my YouTube, and I just sent it over to them, and I let them know some of the stats about the video and how many people watched it within the first 24 hours and all that. Um, and yeah, I just did that just to follow it up, and keep those connections.
Yeah, because I imagine that once you kind of get your foot in the door, especially with that company, if they put something else out, there would probably be an increased chance that you would be someone they would think about having review the game.
Hopefully, that would be
So
good.
is there any plans that you know of for another SpongeBob game?
Not that I know of, unless I am not SpongeBob's number one fan and I've actually missed something, that'd be quite a heartbreak. But no, not that I know of. Um, but I mean the Cosmic Shake, it was so, so good. And I feel like they can really take a lot of what they did in that and a lot of the changes that they made from Bikini Bottom and make an even better game. Like, I seen some people trying to compare it to Super Mario Odyssey, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna be anything like that. It's its own separate, it's its own separate entity.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if they
comparing
eventually
apples
made
and
it,
oranges.
yeah.
Like they're made in two different scopes.
Yeah, no,
So
definite.
Nickelodeon and the developers of that game, if you're listening to us, which you probably aren't, but if you are, please make more games and let's have Courtney review them because she did a great job with that one.
I will
Um,
review them all.
so the next thing I want to talk about is on your video, you've showcased a ton of awesome collectibles, plushes, games. Can you kind of tell us kind of like the scope and the breadth of your collection and maybe what some of your holy grails are?
hmm So honestly, very recently, I got a little bit of an obsession with Japanese Game Boy games just because of how beautiful the box art is. I don't think I realized it was like a local shop to me, and I went in and they had Japanese Game Boy games and I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this colorful box art that you would never see in the UK, or even I don't think you see similar. I think the box art in the UK and Europe and America is pretty similar.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
boring,
as a yeah,
especially from that time.
yeah. So, I was like, "What is this?" And they were so cheap as well. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video where I showed off my Japanese Game Boy Tamagotchi
Yep.
games,
Hmm.
and, like, the box art is just beautiful. and the game was like £15, and I'm like, this is unreal. I'm paying such a cheap price for this beautiful box art that like I still haven't played the game. And this is the bad thing because I buy all these games and then it just adds to the backlog. But they're pretty, okay, and they're very nice to look at.
It's a discussion piece.
Exactly. Um, so that has only kind of like recently started, so I don't have too much in that collection. And a game with like figures and stuff, I feel like I've really kind of started to only recently started to buy them. So like amiibos, I've really been into like buying amiibos recently. Um, I really want the Mega Yarn Yoshi amiibo and the Poochie amiibo, but it's so expensive.
I have the Poochie, but that Mega Yarn one
Do
I don't.
you? Oh my gosh.
I actually had bought two. I got one for my son to open, and then I got one that's up on the wall. But
See, that's smart. Cause that right, so I have 3 yarn Yoshi amiibo, but they're all in their boxes. And then I saw like the prices that some of them are going for online. They're not too expensive, but like they're not like cheap amiibo. And I was like, right, so I don't want to take them out of the boxes. So I bought one the other day just so I could take it out of the box. Because I can't take those ones out of the boxes, but I really, really want to. And it's not as if I'm gonna sell them, you know? Like I buy these things because I like them, not because I'm looking to sell them. Um, but yeah, so that's recently I've started doing that. Um, Probably the most kind of not even prestigious, but the thing that I like the most in my kind of collection game toy collection at the moment is probably the Tremor Tusk. I wouldn't even call it a figure, it's massive. Statue that I got when I got the Horizon Forbidden West collector's edition, and it came with this massive Tremor Tusk that is so beautiful to look at. Um, but the only thing that I would change about it is the connectable pieces to its face. Like the molds are completely off. So I need to get super glue because they just keep on falling off. So these
oh
tusks
no.
keep on falling off. Um, but it's so beautiful. Like I love it. It's actually not. It usually sits right behind me here, but I actually moved it so I could put this Mario light up box there instead. But yeah, probably that and some of my Last of Us statues. I love The Last of Us, and I started to buy the statues when they released as well because I feel like I missed out on so many because I never played The Last of Us until like 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So I missed all the original ones that came out. So when the second game came out, I was like, right, I am buying the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to miss out. There's a couple
Totally.
that, like the one that I kick myself for is that Elden Ring collector's edition with that
Ooh.
Millennia statue. Like, I would give anything to get that, and even like crappy like Chinese knockoffs of it are like $200. Like, if you get the actual thing or the actual like sealed collector's edition, it's astronomical.
Seriously?
It's terrible, yeah. And it's the same thing. Do you have the first collector's edition for Horizon? The one with the Aloy statue? Oh
No.
man, that's one of
See,
my
I missed
favorites.
out on this one as well.
That's one of my favorites. It's a beautiful figure, but there's so many like there's all these like arrows and stuff at her feet, and it's so hard to dust.
Oh
So like
no.
it's probably in like pretty dusty condition right now, but it looks super cool. But yeah, that's neat. So do you collect a lot of like Switch games? Do you have a lot of
I try Switch games. I don't know how many I've got actually. I really should count them. I do collect them. But I think the one thing that I need to start doing is at the moment I've only really been buying games that I want to play. And I need to realize that that's not how you do it because obviously with the 3DS store closing, this is like the perfect example. It's the 3DS store is closing, although it doesn't really make sense because then I go and buy the physical games, but we all know that the physical game prices are going to go up. So I've started buying 3DS games now, and I'm having to get all the games that I would never play, but I want to get them before the e-store closes and the prices go up even further. So that's one thing I need to challenge myself on is buying games that I usually wouldn't. So like JRPGs, I don't usually play them. Um, Gosh, what other game titles are there? Is Metroidvania its own thing?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is
There's
that
and
what type of game is that? I actually don't know.
like Allie would be very upset. That's like her
I know, so this is the
favorite.
thing. I see her talking about them all the time, and I'm like, what type of games are
I
they?
would say like the recent releases for that would be stuff like Hollow Knight. Um,
Ah,
yeah, you know, like those like side-scrolling map exploration, kind of tough combat, those kind of games.
interesting. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, those as well. I don't have Hollow Knight, so I need to up my game and start buying more games like this.
I promise that's what she's going to comment about. She's going to be like, "How do you not have Hollow Knight?"
Is it? It's been on my list as well because they're not. Oh, what were those little figure called? Are they Nendroids?
Yes, Nendoroids. Yep.
Nendoroids. Is there a Hollow Knight version of that, or am I just making that up?
Oh, there might be. I'll have to ask Allie. If there is, I know she has it. So,
If she have it.
right.
Yeah, it's definitely been on my list, and I've just never ever got it. But I think I need to buy more games that I usually wouldn't play because that's the thing. And then the games start to rise in price, and it's like, oh, well, dang, I would have liked to have added that to my collection, but I never bought it when it released. Um, so I've started doing that. I bought actually, um, gosh, what's it called? Metroid Prime, the new one that
Nice.
just released. I've never played a Metroid game, so I don't know what to expect with that. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna play it.
Well, it's good that you bought it because they actually kind of had a limited first print on it.
I
So like
saw
it's already
that.
going for like $120 on eBay. I don't think that will last. I think they'll put out more copies, but I think they underestimated the desire for the physical copy on that.
Yeah, it's so strange as well because it's not, as far as I'm aware, like it's not, it was not a limited release like that Mario game was. I can't
Yeah,
remember the name
3D All
of it.
Stars.
3D All Stars, that's it. Because that was like a limited release, but I don't think this one is. People
Yeah,
are
at
just
least not purposely. Yeah. Yeah, so that's for sure. So as far as your games though themselves, what would you say is the most valuable or rarest game that you have in your collection?
Oh goodness. Probably my Game Boy Advance Pokemon Emerald.
Nice.
Um, it's not anything like super fancy, but it was one of those games that I got as a kid and I still have it and the box is still in great condition. So I think they maybe go for over 250 now.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
quite a bit.
I don't know what one is potentially rare. I've got leaf green as well, and I've still got the box and all the.
You have the box.
Yeah, I've still got. Well,
That might
this
be worth like $600 or $700, Courtney.
seriously?
Because I have like the loose
No.
cart with a dead battery and it's worth like 100. So
No way, seriously? Oh my God. Yeah, I've got all the boxes. This is the thing though. I was like a silly little 6-year-old and I was like, yeah, I've got the game. I don't need the box anymore. And I would throw the box to the side. And then my parents would be like, we're keeping that. So they stored
wow,
all the boxes away from
they
me.
made the save there.
They made the smart decisions. And then it was only last year that they were cleaning out their attic and they brought all this stuff down. There was like, yeah, here's all your old game boxes that you tried to throw out. And I was like,
Whoa.
thank you. Thank you very much. And they were safe, completely safe. No mice got into them, nothing.
All right, so I'm actually because I'm so curious about that now. I'm pretty sure that that's worth quite a bit. So let's see, Pokemon
Yeah.
Sapphire,
So I've got emerald and I've got leaf green.
and you said Leaf Green is boxed.
Leaf green's boxed as well, yeah. The two of them in their original little cardboard boxes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
okay. Pokemon Leaf Green version, complete in box, $375, and that's just one of the listings. Like,
Oh my
if you
God.
were to, I don't know, maybe get that graded, like you could make a lot of money off that. That's pretty neat, though.
Wow.
Thank you, Courtney's parents, for making the save there. That's, I wish my parents had done that. I threw away so much stuff.
Thank you for keeping the boxes, mom and dad.
Yeah, that is a great. Everyone should remember that for their kids. Like my son very much wanted to be a collector because I was. So he's 5 or 6 and he wants this game and that game. And when he was done with games, I would make a point of repossessing them and they would go back into the collection. So one of the games that I repossessed that's actually worth quite a lot is Job Simulator for the PlayStation VR. The physical on that
Wow.
has hovered between like 80 and 120. and we still have it. I repossessed it before it got destroyed. So
Wow, I didn't even know that there was a physical version of that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, super limited release when it had first come out, and now it's worth like a ton. So
That's so funny. Just they somehow get magically repossessed back into your shelf.
yeah, yeah. When I did my Wii U game collection video, I was like, yeah, half of these were my son's games that I took back
I
before
love
they got
that.
lost in the abyss of his room. So we're gonna go take a break, and when we come back, we have a lot more with Courtney.
Oh my gosh, let me see them. Ah, they're so cute. Look at his little face. Free Coco. Okay, cool. Are they gonna follow me? Wait, Coco, come this way. Come this way, child. Come on, my friends. There's my little boy. Oh. Oh my goodness, they're just so cute. Oh my god.
All right, welcome back, folks. I am back with Courtney. Hanging in there, Courtney?
Yep, hanging in there.
All
Got the
right,
cat
so
in my lap.
good deal. Yeah, yeah, she just had the cat all over the place,
Oh
up on the
gosh.
desk, up on her shoulders, on top of her head.
Honestly, she's like resting her head in a very awkward position in which I can't move my chair whatsoever, but that's
Uh-oh.
absolutely fine.
And I'll tell you, during the break, Courtney was showing me some incredible boxed Pokemon games she has that are probably worth a goddamn mint.
I didn't lie. I proved
For real, like it's crazy. I don't think I've
it.
ever seen them in box. I didn't realize they had those shiny, beautiful foil covers and all that.
I know, Emerald especially really shines when you tilt it to side, you really notice it. It's lovely.
Like I thought I had something special when I had like the carts with dead batteries in them. That's nothing compared to what she's got
Those are
going on over
special
there.
as well. Those are special too.
Yeah, for sure. So we were going to cover a couple different things on the second half of the show. So for those of you that don't know, that maybe don't follow her on Twitter, Courtney works for the BBC. So I'm kind of curious, Courtney, what it's like to work for one of the largest media conglomerates in the world.
It's interesting, I'll tell you that. I was incredibly lucky to kind of find myself in the BBC. I basically somehow stumbled into it. I applied basically for an apprenticeship when I was 18, and which in the equivalent in America, I think that's probably like a traineeship, an internship.
Mhm.
Um, and pretty much every year the BBC hire a ton of people all over the UK for their apprenticeships. Typically, back then when I applied, it was simply just for production. So that's television production across news, radio, children's television, all of it. You do it all. But nowadays, I think it's more varied basically nowadays. You can get camera training, you can do behind the scenes tech apprenticeships. It's crazy what there is now. But I was on the production apprenticeship back when I was 18, and I was very lucky to get in. Found myself all over BBC Scotland. So I was working in news, I was working in BBC Children's, I was working in BBC Radio, did it all. Very, very fun, amazing experience that I gained from that. Um, and then since then, I've remained at the BBC, and now I work kind of full time as a production coordinator in BBC Studios, which BBC Studios is pretty worldwide as well. I think you get BBC Studios America, BBC Studios elsewhere. There's definitely a worldwide. It's what they do, like the David Attenborough documentaries. It's massive BBC Studios. So I work mainly in the documentaries unit. So that's what I do across various documentaries, whatever is happening. Um, so it's been really interesting. Prior to this, I worked in BBC News, which obviously is completely different to documentaries. News is daily, and then when you leave at the end of the day, you're kind of just leaving your work behind. Um, but yeah, so I work at BBC Studios at the moment, and I was approached during my time, maybe 2 years ago now, by a colleague at BBC Scotland, who works on BBC The Social. And if you haven't heard what that is, BBC The Social is kind of like it's like a talent development opportunity within Scotland for upcoming talent. And he wanted me to create gaming content for BBC The Social. So through that, I got the opportunity to review Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga,
Nice.
Lego Star Wars, um, for them, which was amazing. So that was like my first official review, but that was under BBC The Social. And then obviously SpongeBob was kind of my first official one for my channel. Um, so yeah, I got to make gaming content for BBC The Social as well, which was amazing. It gave me a lot of experience in writing articles as well as making video content, which is something that I hope to kind of get into a bit more in this year, writing, because I feel like I've kind of been lacking in writing. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Good deal. Good deal. So yeah, BBC has such a wide reach. They kind of have their hands in everything. Now I'm curious because I'm a huge like British mystery person. Like I love that stuff. And I'm a subscriber to BritBox. Does BBC
Oh,
have anything to do with BritBox?
it's on there, isn't it? I don't have it myself, but
Yeah, it's. I mean, they have a ton of BBC content. I just didn't know if that was like a BBC company or.
I could not tell you if it is. But I know that they're on there. I know they're associated with it.
Mhm.
Um, no, I think it's his own thing, isn't it? I actually don't know.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
bad.
but it's a great service, and it's literally like the only way, other than watching like a couple of like the public broadcasting places,
Yeah.
channels that we have that you can really get any kind of like British or Scottish or Irish content
What I
in
was gonna say
America.
is that's probably your way of getting the channels that I just have on the TV, but in America.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
cool, good times. All right, so um, we are going to go into the lightning round now. All right.
I'm scared.
Uh, so I have a list of questions here about gaming content, and I'm going to go through. And you don't have to give long, drawn out answers. It's kind of meant to be done quickly.
I'll be
And
lightning fast.
it's not trivia. It's all like personal opinion questions. So
Okay.
um, we'll go ahead and start. Who is your all-time favorite video game character?
Oh, it's so difficult. Um, okay, so I'm gonna be cheeky and I'm gonna split it into two. So my favorite Nintendo character is Yoshi. I just love Yoshi so, so much. And then my favorite like PlayStation, Sony, more realistic than Nintendo, I guess you could say, is Ellie. Ellie from The Last of Us.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
Very
Uh,
basic answers, I'm sorry.
so, who is your favorite video game villain of all time?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, strangely enough, the one that I'm thinking of at the moment is because I recently played it, and it's Regala from Horizon. I thought she was
Nice.
really cool. And
Good
then
deal.
like, oh no, I won't say any spoilers. I won't say any
Yeah, don't.
spoilers.
People get.
I thought she was really cool. Yes.
That's cool. Very good. What is one game that you really, really want to add to your collection?
Ooh, really, really, really. I would love to eventually add Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon, what's the other one? Is it Fire Red? Can't remember what one goes hand in hand, but those Game Boy ones, the ones that I don't have, I want to eventually add them to my collection, but they're so silly, they're so expensive to get them boxed.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
But I'd
that's
love
good.
to add them to my collection because they're so pretty and they would look so nice all lined up. I've
Well, you
got a
have
vision.
most of them boxed already.
Exactly.
What would you say is your favorite boss fight from a game?
Ooh, okay. Um, so the one that probably left the most like a big impact on me and like actually genuinely scared me was the David fight from The Last of Us.
Nice.
I genuinely got heart palpitations from that. Have you played it? Yeah.
I did not. I did not.
Oh, do you know what I'm talking about though? No.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
The one where like he's chasing you in a burning building and he's got like a knife and then he like whips out an axe and it's like, oh my God, like can we not just both leave here?
it
Happy.
was
The
it was
building's
very
burning.
very dramatic and cinematic. Like I've watched most of the first game through playthroughs, and I have it, but I never really got into it. I do want to try to make a point to play the second one because I heard a
Oh,
lot of great things about it. So
you should. Yeah, I really recommend it. Although I feel like you need, I mean, I personally needed 3 weeks after finishing that game to process everything. Like I just felt drained. It was bizarre, but it was so
so
good.
so do they plan to take the series into the second game too?
Yes, they do.
That's going to be cool.
So I don't know what it is though. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know. Personally, I don't think they're gonna get the full second game into the second series. I think it's gonna need to be split across another series, but I don't think that's been confirmed yet, to be honest.
Are you fully caught up on the series?
No, I've got 2 episodes to catch up on, so I'm gonna do them all in the one go because I didn't get to watch Sundays there,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll watch it. I'll watch it in
Nice.
one go.
Good deal. All right. Your saddest scene in a video game.
Oh, I keep on going back to The Last of Us, but it does have to be that scene in The Last of Us, the very opening scene with Sarah. It makes me cry every single time. And I very rarely cry, but that one just really, oh gosh, and then the remastered version of it in like HD. I didn't need that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't need to see that.
Brutal.
So emotional.
All right. So, what is your favorite song you've heard in a video game?
Oh, so there's probably oh no, there's so many. Right. Okay, I'm gonna be cheeky again. I'm gonna say two. One is the Yoshi's Story opening song. My heart. It makes me so happy. It's like all the Yoshi singing. "Na, na." Exactly like that, and that exact same pitch as well. Um, so cute. It makes me smile every single time. And then the next song is because I'm back in my Mario Kart phase. Waluigi's Pinball from Mario
Nice.
Kart. I love it. I just want that playing in my head 24/7. I would feel so motivated.
That's a classic. That's good. Good deal. All right. So, let's see. What else do we have here? I'm trying to pick like a great one here. What's the most time you ever put into one game?
Ooh, most time in one game. So potentially Animal Crossing, but back when I didn't know, like you couldn't check. So like see on the 3DS, I don't think you could check how many hours you put into a game, could you?
Yeah, I think it only told you your last session. Like if you played for 3 hours, it'd be
Oh.
like you played for 3 hours on Monday, but it wasn't like cumulative.
Yeah. So I think I played Wild World a ridiculous amount as a child. So something tells me that. But like what I've got at the moment in my Nintendo Switch, I think it's Splatoon 3. I've put in a lot of hours into Splatoon. It's actually quite embarrassing.
Are you like really competitive in it? Like, can you smoke everyone online?
So it depends. I feel like some days I'm in and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so good. Look at me with my little splushomatic, even though that's a really basic weapon to pick. I love it. I'm a splushomatic main. Um, but then other days I'm just getting like mauled by rollers, and then I genuinely want to throw my switch out the window. It's
The
awful, but I
rollers
love
are overpowered for sure.
summer. Rollers are ridiculous, and I have a lot to say about rollers. But then if I get too like worked up with the main battles, what do you call it? Turf war.
Hmm,
I then just go and do salmon run, which
nice.
calms me down.
All right. So one more here. What do you think is the most overrated game series?
Mm, overrated. So I've said this on Twitter before and it didn't get a good reaction, but I'm gonna say it again because I stand by it. It's Uncharted. I know. I don't like the Uncharted games. I don't know why. I can just never get into them.
I'm
Have I
with
hit a
you.
nerve?
I'm with you. Like
You're with me?
the idea was so good. But I think Uncharted met its end, in my opinion, when they rebooted Tomb Raider and it made Uncharted look like a kid's game.
Yes.
That's
It's
what I
just Tomb
thought.
Raider with a guy.
Like when Laura came back and was more real and more badass and more identifiable with, I think that was it. Like those, especially the first two. The third one was okay. The first two were like that first reboot is actually what got me back into games. Like I went through a long period where,
Oh, really?
I was not really playing games. I'd play a little Call of Duty or something here and there, but it wasn't really playing anything else. And then that came out. I'm like, I want to try that because I used to love playing the old
Yeah.
Lara Croft games on like PlayStation, and I was obsessed. And I was staying up all night playing it, kind of like you were talking about. Like it's 4 a.m. You're like, I gotta work at 7 o'clock. Like, what the hell am I gonna do?
Like a mistake
So
has been made.
yeah. So I mean, the games are fun, but they don't compare, I don't think. So I think they were made as a answer to Lara Croft, and they're not. So
Yeah. You're the first person that's honestly agreed with me on that because I feel like every single time I give that opinion, people are like, "What?
yeah, they're
What?
probably
You
gonna
don't like
flame us in the
Uncharted?"
comments, but that's fine. They can get upset if they want to.
I'm sorry. It's just I've tried so hard to get into the games. I gave up on the first one and started playing the second one because I was that determined to get into it. Just I couldn't. I don't know if it's the combat. I don't know what it is. There's just
Yeah.
something about it. Lara Croft has given me too high expectations.
So, one of the things I always like to talk about with my guests is what they're currently playing.
Mhm.
So what are like in the last like couple of weeks, what have you been focusing on as far as your gaming time?
So I told you actually I was really sick a couple of weeks ago, so I've kind of just been in bed like playing games nonstop. So I haven't been playing as much of my PlayStation recently, and I've really been playing the 3DS more because I've been buying the games as well. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually play the 3DS because I feel like I just buy games and then never ever play them. So I played Rhythm Heaven. Is it it's got a different name in the US and I always get it mixed up. I think it's Rhythm Heaven in the UK. Is it
No, I
Rhythm
think
Heaven?
that's I think
Is it that?
and like
Yeah.
the sequel was called like Rhythm Fever or something.
Yeah, I always get it mixed up. I don't know why, but I played that for the first time and I had so much fun. I think I was 2 weeks ago I played that. I've still not finished it because I'm stuck on one of the levels. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm questioning my rhythm. I don't have any, really. Um, and then I've been playing Captain Toad as well, which it's just simple fun. There's no stress. It's just fun. And then recently as well, I've been back into my Mario Kart phase. So very Nintendo at the moment. But it's been a lot of fun. What have you been playing?
Oh dear. So I played Fire Emblem Engage like nonstop.
Is it good?
Nonstop. I think I put in like 90 hours. And I streamed a couple like smaller games and stuff, but then I got big into Octopath Traveler 2. I've been
Hmm.
playing that over the last couple days, streaming that, and it's a huge throwback to like the time I came up with and the PS1 and PS2 days, and that like beautiful pixel art and the 2D 3D backgrounds, like
I
it
love that.
really, there's no comparison. Did you play the first one?
No, so I've never played any of those ones. The Octopath games?
Yeah,
No,
they
never
are
played them.
incredible, and there can be like a little bit of learning curve to it. Like you can kind of rush into some of the fights and not be prepared for them. So there's a little bit of like old school difficulty to it, but if you're being careful and kind of leveling up and grinding a little bit, it's pretty non-problematic. But the story, the music, it probably has one of the best like English voice acting
Oh, it's
jobs
got
I've
voice
seen in quite a
acting.
while. It's really good. And
Wow.
Engage was the same. So two in a row that were really good. And I'm used to like terrible English voice acting and like survival horror games, you know, it's been refreshing. But yeah, so when you talk about PlayStation, my PlayStation 5 is gathering dust. I don't think I've turned it on. It's probably been 3 months. I've pretty much been exclusively Switch, and then I got my Wii U for what you were talking about. I've been going back
Oh,
and buying all the like every week I go and get like a 50 or $100 Nintendo card. I'm like, the 23rd is coming up. The 23rd is coming up. The shop's closing down.
God, it's so soon. See, when you say the 23rd, that's
Go
so
out and get some cards
soon.
like right away.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it kind of sucks because it's kind of convoluted how you have to add the money for the 3DS and the Wii U, because
It's
if
so
you try to do it
backwards.
on the system, it's like you can't do it. But if you add it on your Switch, it
You
does
can
show
transfer
up
it over.
and is spendable on those consoles. Um,
I know it's just
honestly think
easier
I'm
to
going to
buy a
run out of
card, isn't
time.
it?
Yeah, I'm going to run out of time because it would be unrealistic to go get like $500 worth of cards and go buy everything and fill like a external hard drive with it. Like that's
Yeah.
probably not financially wise, even though I'd like to. So
I didn't know that Amazon still sold 3DS games, so that's where I've been getting a couple of mine.
nice.
And they're pretty cheap as well. I still need to pick up Fantasy Life. That's it.
Oh yes, yes.
It's nothing like Tomodachi Life, but like that's like where I've like
And
blocked it in my memory bank.
that reminds me, the other game that I played for a little bit in the last week was Metopia.
Oh,
Um,
really? Is it
and what
good?
I've been doing is taking my content creator friends and making them all.
Oh my
So I've
gosh.
got a character of Allie, of Emily, of Brandon, of Phil. I gotta make one of you now. I gotta make one of Tony. Like all these people are in the game, and some of them are in the parties, and some of them are NPCs. Like,
That's so funny.
yeah, I had got the idea because one of my friends had made characters from Zero Time Dilemma and
Uh-huh.
in the game, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a good idea! I'm gonna make my friends."
That
So
gave me an idea.
you may be guest starring in a playthrough of Metopia soon.
That's amazing. It's like a little D&D character that I have no idea that exists, but it's me.
And what I've been doing with the streaming is really fun. Is I've been making polls every day.
Hmm.
So I'll be like, hey, these are the 3 games that I'm considering streaming tonight. What do you guys want to see? And I follow it no matter what. And a couple times that's kind
Oh,
of
that's good.
sucked because like they've picked like I put up like a visual novel that does not have English voice acting,
I
and I'm like
know.
narrating it like I'm Morgan Freeman.
Oh
And
my
at the
gosh.
end of a 2-hour stream, I can like barely talk and like my throat is dry. And one person showed up.
You're like,
I'm,
was this worth it?
yeah, I was like, I just made an audio book for you guys, and yeah,
The
so
developers are just stripping the audio. Thank you
yeah,
very much.
thank
YouTube
you
announcer
for
guys.
dubbing that for us. Yeah, so we've been having a good time. So, what kind of plans do you have for your channel in the coming year? Do you have any big projects or videos that you specifically want to make?
So no big projects at the moment. I plan on finishing my Last of Us series that I have lacked on recently. I think I've went like 2 months without my last episode. I think. So I hope to finish that. I think I'm gonna try and film another episode of that this week. The Last of Us Part 1. And then I hope to eventually get streaming as well. I'd love to start streaming. I don't know if I want to do it on Twitch yet or on YouTube. Um, I might try both just to see what works, but I'd definitely love to try it out. I feel like it would, open up my content a bit more as well,
Mhm.
just strictly from playthroughs. And then yeah, I also need to do like what you did today. Um, like a pickups haul. I need to
Yeah.
do that with my 3DS collection as well. An updated one because I will be needing a year since I've done that. So I definitely want to do that as well. And yeah, I'll just see where the channel takes me, to be honest. I'm excited for the year ahead. It should be very fun. I feel like it'll be a good year.
So, do you have any goals that you've set for yourself as far as like subscribers or anything like that?
My goals at the moment is just to reach 1,000, which I'm confident that I'll reach within the next couple of months. Um, Then if I was being, like, overly confident, I'd be like, "Okay, then I'll go to 5,000 next," but that's very that's very optimistic, but at the moment, 1,000 is the goal, um, across all my platforms, so Twitter, YouTube, and then, um, yeah, see how that goes, and
Good
then
deal.
yeah, because then I think it's 1,000 you can then apply for partner
Yeah.
after you've got all your watch hours, so that would be a good goal as well to eventually hit partner. Whether I get it this year, I don't know, but it'll be the goal in the long run.
I think you'll easily get it. My prediction is easily get it. You might even get that 5,000. I think you're going to catch on because I
Here's
know when
hoping.
people see the content, they're going to see that it's refreshing, it's lighthearted. So many people come onto the platforms and they're full of hot air and they have all these hot takes and they have negative things to say.
Yeah.
One of the things that turns me off the most is when I see someone make a video about a negative thing, like why I hate this game. And I'm like, why do I want to watch that? Like, I'm glad that you're sharing
Why?
your opinion and you have freedom to speak, but I'm watching this to like decompress and like not be stressed. and you're
Yeah.
making like a video that is a negative thing. So you make wonderful content. It is very positive,
Well, thank you.
very inspirational. You cover a lot of a very wide variety of games and subjects. That being said, listeners, you have to go subscribe and follow and all that stuff on all our platforms. It's like mandatory. So Courtney, where can they find you on all these platforms?
So on YouTube, you can find me at Courttonee, and that is just, I think I should actually spell it out just so people know, which is Courttonee. And you can find me at Courttonee on YouTube and on Twitter. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Very good. Now, do you think if you get going on Twitch, are you just going to go by Courtney as well?
Yeah, so that's my username on Twitch at the moment. I don't want to direct people there just yet. Although I'm hoping to do it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it this week, but that was my goal. My goal was last week, and then I never ever did it. But
So what do you
but
think
it's
will be
like,
the first thing you try streaming?
I don't know. See, I've got a DS capture card, so I really wanted to stream a DS game. I thought that would be really unique and fun. But then I was like, what DS game do I stream? I don't know. You're doing Mystery Dungeon, aren't you? Because that was one I thought of doing.
Yeah, I was doing that on that was off the Wii U. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the Wii U is great for that. So, do you have a Wii U?
I do have a Wii U. I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
the best thing to do. Go get yourself a
Wow.
card, buy a couple games, and just go wild. So, and I also would suggest the Retron 5. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. It has Famicom, Nintendo, Super Famicom,
Wow.
Super Nintendo, Sega, and it has a GBA port in the front. So you can play any of those games. It has save states, it imports and keeps your save data, and you can also use like emulators and stuff on it with like a SD card. So it's a pretty neat piece. It's probably like $150.
That is neat. That I've got something similar for the GameCube. It's the adapter on the bottom of the GameCube
Yep.
where you can put Game Boy games into it. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, listeners, go check her out on those platforms and make sure that you follow and subscribe. And Courtney, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a
Thank you for
pleasure to
having
have
me.
you on. And of course, listeners, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to both Courtney and to myself. And as always, stay creepy.